Hi guys, welcome to another Perky's Guide 2. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe if you haven't done so already. Today guys, I'm going to be giving you 10 tips for looking after and using vintage effects pedals. Compared to modern pedals, they are slightly different beasts and do require some special care and attention. So here we go. Number 1, keep them dry and out of sunlight. It sounds silly to say, I know, but damp conditions in electronics are not good friends. Moisture will tarnish the casing of your pedal and wreck the internals, so keep them in a cool, dry place. Personally, I keep mine on shelves underneath my amplifiers where they're not going to get kicked around or damaged. Also, keep them out of direct sunlight. I've got an Ibanez AD80 here, and you'll see on the front it's had stickers on over the years, and you can see the difference that sunlight has made in the colour of the pedals where those stickers have been. It's only cosmetic, I know, but it will keep the pedals looking good and it will keep their resale value up. Number 2, power up before plugging in the input jack. If you use lots of vintage pedals that are battery only, you'll know that by unplugging the input jack, it will disconnect the battery from the circuit and stop the battery from running down. When we connect a battery to a pedal or a power supply, we can sometimes get an initial power surge. If there's no input jack in, that power surge will be kept within the power section of the pedal. If the input jack is in, the power surge can travel through the circuit board and can fry components. So always make sure to plug the input jack in after power has been applied to your pedal. Number 3, use a switching system. If any major component on your pedal is going to break, it'll almost certainly be the on-off switch. So by leaving it always on and kicking it in and out using a switching system, that will prolong the life of your pedal. Also with vintage pedals, we can get volume loss and degradation in tone, so by isolating them in true bypass loops, we can stop that from happening. Number 4, clean pots and connections with contact cleaner. It's amazing how much of an improvement in tone we can get just by keeping our pedals clean. Personally, I use Servicol Super 10, but you can use any good contact cleaner. Pots especially are notorious for becoming dirty, crackly and dulling the sound of our pedal. So by keeping the components clean, we can drastically improve the sound. Number 5, learn to solder. Having basic soldering skills is very important when dealing with vintage pedals. Sometimes if something really bad goes wrong, it will be necessary to take it to a professional, but things like battery clips, where we're pulling them around every 5 minutes clipping batteries on, we can pull the wires off the terminals, so just being able to resolder those small connections will save us a lot of easy money. Number 6, don't mess with bias controls. They're there for a reason, and trust me, the guys who built your circuit almost certainly know more about calibrating them than you do. Sometimes with things like vintage germanium fuzz pedals, the transistors can drift over time and need rebiasing. But things like these Boss DM2 delay pedals here, the bias controls are set and glued in place for a reason. Some people try to modify these pedals and tweak the bias to get longer delay times, but more often than not, you can stop the pedal from working and sometimes even damage components, so leave them alone. Number 7, most aren't true bypass. This generally isn't a problem, but we do need to understand what buffers are and what they do. Having a buffer inline in your rig can be a good thing, it can keep your signal intact. Having too many of them though will degrade your signal. Also, if you're using things like vintage germanium fuzz pedals, having a buffer before it can stop the pedal cleaning up and make the sound quite harsh. Even having a buffer after the pedal can cause some problems. So it's just something to be aware of. Number 8, power requirements and jacks. Having good, clean, isolated power is essential for getting the most out of your pedals. I used to think it was rubbish, but it really is true that some pedals do sound better running on batteries than on power supplies. It's also worth bearing in mind that not all pedals use standard 9-volt Boss type adapters. Old Electro Harmonix pedals use these little mini headphone jacks, and this electric mistress runs on 18 volts. Putting the wrong voltage into your pedal will almost certainly blow it up. Number 9, remove batteries. This is a very good habit to get into. When you've finished using a pedal that's powered by a battery, take the battery out. If you leave it in there and forget about it and leave the pedal on the shelf for a year, the battery can leak acid, which will destroy the internals of your pedals. So by taking them out, we can stop that from happening. And number 10, be gentle with them. They're old, they're delicate, and they're far more likely to break than current production pedals. Personally, I don't gig with vintage pedals, but if you do, don't jump off the drum riser and land on them with your full weight, please. They will break, and once they're gone, they're gone. So treat them with respect, and they will last you a long, long time. So there we go guys, thank you ever so much for watching. Vintage pedals are amazing things, but hopefully by following those tips, you'll get the most out of them. Please do subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you next time.